Hello, everyone. I'm Kristen.
And I'm Rachel.
And this is So I'm Watching Outlander, Season 6, Episode 6, The World Turned Upside Down. Where do we want to start? Just with the dysentery?
Sure.
There's a dysentery outbreak on the ridge. Everybody's kind of going nuts about it, trying to find the source. Turns out it wasn't Malva like we thought. I thought it was those dead bodies from Malva, but it is apparently just a dead elk in one of the streams. So, a handful of people die, nobody that we really know.
Yeah.
Or anything. And then Claire also gets sick, but it's not dysentery.
Mm-hmm.
And she's trying to figure out what it is, how she got sick, if anybody else has the same symptoms. So she goes, "Hey, Tom Christie, give me some of your poop."
He did not like that.
He did not like that.
Spoiler alert.
I think he did do it. Or did he just walk her back home?
I think he just walked her back home. Yeah.
Well, regardless, she's like, I know that we have the same thing, but I haven't seen Tom Christie in weeks. There's no way how were we exposed to the same thing? And then she like narrows it down to Malva, who is running a gambit in this episode. And it obviously does not work out, but like, wow.
Yeah. That's why I wore my Seduce and Destroy shirt.
Nice.
I thought that was very appropriate because wow, Malva.
I'm like, okay, because the thing for me is like, I don't understand what you thought was going to be accomplished. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was thinking about this when I was putting my makeup on. And so do we want to say who we think the father of her baby is?
So I know who it is because I went looking.
Okay. Is it who I thought?
I think so.
Okay.
I don't. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Here's my thing, though, is like, unless that person confesses, how are we going to find out now?
But I think he does.
Okay.
And so this is what I was thinking about when I was putting my makeup on. So she thinks, because obviously this is a horrible situation that's happening to her. So because Jamie is such a stand-up person, then she thinks that if she says it's Jamie, Jamie will feel tender-hearted towards her.
Yeah.
And then take her in and all will be well.
I think she's also just straight up trying to get out of her house.
Yes. But what a swing to go for effectively the laird of the land.
Especially when you have clearly been throwing it all over town.
I know.
Pick anyone. And then poor Ian.
My God.
Which you were like, I think Ian just wants to be married.
Yeah, because he stays throwing marriage proposals at people. Like, do you want me to marry you? I'll marry you. Do you need someone to marry you? I'll do it. Like, my God.
He offered for Bree. I feel like at one point he offered to take care of Lizzie.
Yes, he did.
Ian, my dude. You have to like relax. And he like comes to Claire and he's like, I slept with Malva also. Or like, I know that Jamie didn't, but I slept with her. And so like, I will marry her and do the right thing and like take care of the baby and blah, blah, blah. And Claire's like, maybe wait.
Yeah.
Like, she's been sleeping with other people too, because they talk about Obadiah Henderson.
Well, yeah, and Obadiah was like talking shit about Jamie, and then Ian fights him, but I'm just like, what do you have to stand on, Obadiah? Because you were fucking her in the meeting house.
Exactly. So it's like a whole ridiculous thing. Also, they did cut Claire's hair. We did wonder about it, if it was going to happen or not. We then mercifully blow through several months in this episode. So it's like getting a little longer, which is nice. God, there's so much more though to it.
I know.
Because like Tom and Alan and Malva all come to the big house and they're like, we need to talk to you. And Alan tries to be a big man and hit Jamie.
LOL. It was like a slap.
Please.
Sure.
And they're calling her a whore, and she's like, but she is like a sociopathically good actor.
Malva is a sociopath.
Yeah.
Hard stop. But like, this actress is phenomenal.
Jessica Reynolds, I think we decided her name is. Yeah, she's very good.
Again, I want to see her in The Crucible. Can someone please make that happen for me, please? I would really appreciate it.
It would be really good.
Yeah.
We could use a remake of The Crucible.
Yeah, we could.
Been ages.
Yeah.
And as much as I love Winona Ryder, she was not amazing when she was young. So
no. So let's give Jessica Reynolds some work. Let's do that.
So yeah, it's like a whole thing. And okay, this is the only part of the episode that like straight up made me angry, is that she's confessing to this whole thing in front of everybody. Well, not everybody, but Jamie and Claire and her family. And she's like, he wanted me, and like, I just like couldn't say no, and all this stuff.
He was just so sad because you were dying, and so I had to use my vagina to make him feel better.
So Claire, I don't know. I don't remember this specific scene from the books, but I wish that she had just laughed at Malva.
Yeah. And slapped her and then laughed at her.
Because she took, even not the slap, because it makes it feel like she really thinks it's real.
Well, so she should have slapped her, then laughed at her and said, you really think you can come in my house?
Sure.
And throw these accusations at my husband? That's hysterical. Get the fuck out of my house.
But
and you all can pack your shit and get off of our land.
Yeah. Instead, she slaps her and then like essentially runs away crying. And then she and Jamie have this whole talk, and she's like, we shouldn't be here, and it's only because I love you so much, and I thought it was reciprocated. And I'm like, what on earth makes you think it's not?
I feel like both of them were having completely different conversations. Like, they were doing this. Like,
because then he up and starts apologizing.
After he said he's not going to apologize for something he didn't do.
And then he's like, I'm sorry. And she's like, tell me who and tell me when. And
first of all, he goes, I'm sorry, but I do have something to tell you. And it's like, what? And then he just keeps being like, there's no good way to say it. And I'm like, stop.
Just
stop it. Just say it. Just say it. And then it was about Mary McNabb when he was like,
when Claire was back in the future.
When he was living in the cave.
And he was in the cave.
Back when he was MacDoob or whatever. Now is not the time, guys. Now, we're not doing this. You know?
It's just like, no, she was gone. She was essentially dead. He didn't think she was ever coming back. It's not a betrayal.
No.
In that instance.
No, not at all. And it was not the time or place.
Yeah.
When we have to figure out, this is like a really dire situation that we need to be figuring out. We don't need to be airing like, oh, hey, one time.
Yeah.
When I thought you were never coming back and I was never going to see you again. This really nice lady just kind of like, gave me tenderness.
Also, because I think that he tells her that in the books way sooner than now.
I think so,
or at least we find it out way sooner.
Well, because we are with him when
it happens. I think. That's inconsequential.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not like Claire was like, "Well, I can't be mad at you because me and Frank slept together a handful of times or whatever." And I'm like, you don't need to air these grievances right now.
No,
bigger fish, friends.
And so there also then is, as sort of a mirror to that, there was a conversation between Roger and Bree where, like, by this point, the entire Ridge thinks that Jamie has done it and is just not being honorable. And so Bree tells the story of Frank's girlfriend who, like, came to Claire's graduation and everything. And I really liked the conversation they had because Roger was like, Jamie is an honorable man. Like, he would never do such a thing. And Brianna was like, I thought that Frank was honorable too. And I sort of was like, I don't necessarily think Frank's infidelity is a matter of honor or not. He knew that his wife was not, I really can't bring infidelity into Frank and Claire's relationship.
Yeah.
But it's like, he knew his wife had been with another man, had a child by another man, and was in love with another man. And so I just, at a certain point, I would be like, yep, have girlfriends, just keep it discreet.
Yeah, and I think that was the betrayal. I think that was the betrayal of Sandy, was because
that's what annoyed Claire. Is she was like, I don't care what you do, but this was a party for me, and you invited your girlfriend.
Yeah, Sandy can't come to my graduation party.
Yeah, so like, what are we doing?
She's not on the guest list.
She's not allowed. So I don't know. I did like the conversation between the two of them.
Too.
It was nice and it was sweet, but it was just sort of like it felt like we had a couple of conversations in this episode that didn't really have a purpose. Mm-hmm. And the one with Claire and Jamie was one, because he obviously is not going to admit to something he didn't do.
Especially because it kind of bookended the lovely conversation that they had in bed, where he was naming all of the qualities, and he says to her that his favorite quality about her is her faithfulness. Yeah. And she was like, samesies. Yeah. So I mean, so then why? And
then at the literal first sign of potentially trouble,
I'm in shock.
I can't believe you'd cheat. And it's just sort of like, first of all, while you were back in the future, I don't think we can claim anything as cheating. Not Geneva, not Amy, not Leary or Mary, whatever. none of those three women can count as cheating. First of all, he married Leary. And Geneva was like, I'm marrying an old man. I want to be fucked by a stallion once first. And he was like, well, I guess. And then the moment of tenderness. And so I'm just sort of like, I feel so weird about this conversation because it makes Claire look weak.
Yes, especially, I remember in Paris, he was having all of his meetings in brothels.
Yeah.
And remember he like talks about them, like the sex workers like biting him or whatever. And that was when they weren't sleeping together because of his trauma.
Yep.
And so it's like, we've already literal and like we've done this. We've done this.
That's the thing my thing is that we've done this and I don't know why we're pretending like Claire would believe for a single minute that Jamie would sleep with a young girl for no reason.
Yeah, I don't.
Even if he thought Claire was dying, he would certainly wait until she was dead.
I just think he would still die with her. I don't think that he would let her go by herself. He'd be like, well, nope, this is it for me too, I guess.
Later.
See y'all later.
So yeah, I don't know. It was really...
Yeah, and then she talks about her dreams that she had when she was feverish, and it was like snakes, and the imagery I thought was really neat.
Yeah.
But like the snakes, her heart, and everything, and she talks about when what was his name in Paris?
Master Raymond?
There you go. It said that blue was a healing color because she saw blue things when he was healing her. And so she was like, it felt like it was in the house. I was like, yeah, you have a snake in your house and her name is fucking Malva.
So basically after they kick the Christies out, it's like a while, before Claire feels well enough to take a walk. She takes a walk down to the Christies, which has to be at least a mile.
Yeah.
It's so far for like a weak person. Anyway, she goes down, she goes down and that's when she asks Tom Christie for his poop. But then she goes back later after Malva has like accused her, or Jamie. And she talks to Malva, who seems to potentially almost be breaking down until Alan comes out of the house. And she's like, he starts talking about her potions that like raise the dead or whatever, which is not what I would call, it's not how I would describe the ether. It doesn't wake the dead.
No, but I mean, because Malva marvels about how they seem to be dead and then they come back to life. And then, but as soon as he starts spouting that bullshit,
Malva's like, yeah, I've seen it. And ugh.
I know what we do to witches. And it's like, fuck off. Fuck off, Malva.
Well, and Alan.
Yes, especially Alan. Alan can go kick rocks. And my whole thing, too, these people are so fucking ungrateful.
Yeah.
Like, you are given land, you were given homes, you were given protection, and you are going to, like, spit in their faces.
Yeah.
So, I just think it pisses me off.
And that goes into that, like, multiple months have passed because nobody will come to Claire in her surgery anymore because they're like, first of all, I don't know why they're punishing her.
Because she's a woman, and we bear the brunt of everything.
Regardless, so she like closes the curtain on the surgery or whatever, and then she takes some more ether. She keeps on seeing Mr. Brown again. Lionel, though, right? The one that's dead?
Yes.
Yeah. So she keeps on seeing him, and she's sort of lays down, takes the ether. And then, is Malva actually in there? Or is she dreaming?
I think she's dreaming. But I don't know. So because there's so much talk of like really intense dreams.
Yeah.
So because she saw Malva walking to the house, and so that she locked the door, and so that's my whole thing. So we don't know how she can get in the house, but I don't think she locked the other surgery door.
Okay.
So I don't know.
Well, regardless, she either has a dream where Malva actually does it, where she like wakes up, but she's groggy from the ether, and Malva is like, it's because I'm young and you're old and withered and your hair is gone and it's gray also, and
you're dead inside.
I'm just sort of like, first of all, she's meant to be like 50 at this point, I think. And I know that Katrina is only like 42, but like she's keeping it tight.
Yeah.
She looks amazing.
Yeah.
She looks so good. And a lot of times with like villainous, sexually aggressive female characters, they're always like, well, I'm younger. And it's like, I don't know that you understand how much just being younger can't compete with what Claire and Jamie have like experienced and been through, which she ends up saying to her. She's like, we've been through things you can't imagine. This is not gonna like break us. Or
I'm
whatever.
from the future, bitch.
Yeah, like
Come
you have
on.
no idea. We've already been through fucking 2 wars. Like, what do you want from me? So yeah, she basically just is like, I'll kill you if you come around here again. And then she goes to work out in the garden, and Malva is hella dead. But I guess she can still feel the baby.
Yeah.
She slices her right open and grabs the baby out, but I think the baby died too.
You want to know a really terrible thought I had?
What?
She was like cutting into the belly. Is this cake?
Oh no! Tis not cake.
No, it's not cake.
No. But so the baby died as well.
Mm-hmm.
It looked like it anyway, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then it looks like next week we are gonna be confronted with the Christies thinking Claire murdered her. Which, like, we all know who it is if you've read it. I guess I won't say, if we're not going to say who the father of Malva's baby is, I won't say who definitely killed her, but...
You want to find out?
Spoiler alert, it's the father of the baby.
Oh, and we did get a little bit more of Jamie went to the Continental Congress and did not get picked.
But he has stood up for liberty.
Yes,
Yeah.
he has.
And apparently they were just drinking all kinds of booze. Cherry booze, blackberry booze, all the booze.
I mean, I would have to drink a shit ton of booze, too, to be in a room full of arguing men. So,
Ugh,
especially
yeah.
about politics.
No, thank you.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna need us to get young Ian some therapy about why he feels the need he must be married.
Mm-hmm.
Although, I mean, he could marry the widow McNabb or whatever her name, McCallum.
I feel like he's still kind of picky, though. Like,
Yeah.
no, I'll marry somebody, but not you.
Like, he specifically was like, Malva's so beautiful. And I was like, she is beautiful, but she's like
Crazy.
she's like crazy putty beautiful for sure.
But, you know, some men can't help themselves.
That is true.
That she's a level of crazy banana pants. Wow.
Can't do it.
No.
Can't do it. So yeah, that is mostly it. It was a relatively contained episode. It was just all about the dysentery and Claire's illness, and then the Malva's pregnancy.
Well, and we know that, like, Malva absolutely poisoned Tom Christie and Claire, right?
Somehow, yes. They got some kind of fever, so
Probably dead man fever. She probably put,
something,
like,
yeah.
sprinkled some of the dead man in.
Yeah.
Because she cut off the
Another
finger.
finger, yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
gross.
just like, I don't know, give your dad enough to kill him. Although maybe it's like maybe her dad is the only, well.
She also doesn't
Yeah.
know what she's doing.
No, not at all.
So she probably meant to kill them both, but then didn't do enough.
Yeah.
So just yikers.
All right, well, we'll be back next week for the penultimate episode of season 6.
Woo!
Bye.
Bye.